What's up, guys? How you doing? This is D. Durrell with the Manosphere. It's been a while since I've talked about things. Haven't been too consistent with the videos because I've been playing around in a lot of crazy ass sectors dealing with a lot of BS. But at this point, I'm getting ready to excommunicate myself personally out of a certain sector, excuse me, such as being in the pro-black, so-called pro-black UMAR sector. I'm, looking to, take my, time and all my work and so forth, ideas. I'm getting ready to transfer that out of that particular sector for a variety of different reasons. Shout out to Recognized Game. This is what the video today is going to be about. My brother Recognized Game. Definitely making moves in the manosphere. Definitely getting a lot of people's attention. Definitely making enemies. And he also got some friends and so on. I go in certain spaces, people like, who the hell is Recognized Game? Who is this dude Recognized Game? Been a lot of different areas I've been seeing it. He doing his thing. I collab with him. We got to get the Simp Thursday thing going. We both have been, kind of dealing with a lot of different things, and we're not able to be consistent on that. But the first Simp therapy actually was pretty cool. Shout out to TSI, the sexual intellectual. What's up, Queen, if you're listening? I've been watching you in the clouds. Definitely watching you in the clouds. Definitely been watching the Gynocracy takeover. Been watching you in the clouds also. It's a lot of new people that I'm seeing in the sector. A lot of new females and so forth. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Just from my position, you all know that I am not a red pill person per se. I'm definitely an opponent of it. But with that being said, I am able to be cool and objective with anybody, regardless of what ideology that they hold on to. Now, as you all know, certain places people don't like me in this space because I'm not red pill or I talk against it. The main issues I have is not necessarily, excuse me, those who are red pill is the reasons that people choose to be red pill and the misusage of research. That's the stickler for me. There are a lot of people who just don't know how to read research and they want to come off as being intellectual. I have issues with that. Big issues. Shout out to Golden Black 189 and some of the ladies that I just mentioned are sharing my video. I appreciate that. When I get to 500, I'm gonna also do the same for you all. Like I said, I'm in several different sectors. I'm in my life solutions is kind of in the manosphere per se, but it's more in the mental health. But I talk about black issues. Everybody know I'm pro-black. The D. Durrell the Rebirth channel is basically me doing content in the manosphere, or what I like to call the Manosphere, in which this is balanced talk about relationships, about the black community. I welcome the opinions of black women. I have a different slant on things that is not necessarily coinciding with the space in itself. Excuse me. People that know me for a while, they understand that. They know where I come from. It's no big deal. Shout out to Teapot. I've been watching your channel in the clouds too. These Negroes over there going crazy. Shout out to Teapot for having me on. Last couple of weeks I've been over there doing things and debating. I will be back. But I want to get on this topic about recognized game. Just to give you a bit of a backstory on it. Because I think people need to understand that, me and Recognized Game have known each other in the pro-black UMAR sector since 2000, I want to say 2020, maybe 2019, but I'm going to say 2020, when we really start interacting. Actually, I'm going to say 19, since 2019, actually, the fall of 2019. We were not always, it wasn't that we wasn't cool. We had a difference of opinion, but we were very respectful. It was a few times we got heated with each other, but it was always respectful. I used to come on his channel. He came on mine most of the time. He's a person that's been very critical of Umar Johnson, and for good reasons. He had a lot of legitimate points. Also, he does work in the mental health industry as myself, as a therapist. I think he works more I think he's non-clinical, but he's been working in the field for a long time, so he understands how to provide those services. And we have had a on and off again relationship for the last, I would say, 3 years. I left the UMAR sector right before the spring of 2020, and I came back in the fall of 2020. And then every so often, me and Recognized Game would chop it up about the school, chop it up about Umar, chop it up about the space, and he'd want to challenge us. And he was very tactful in his arguments. Now, coming to the Manosphere, he's a little bit more aggressive than what I've seen him. But I've seen him get aggressive, but he's definitely bringing the heat. And he's making a name for himself in the sector. I understood just the other day as far as how he was recruited for the Tough Talk TV. And I think, at the time, I guess Sister George made a good choice in choosing him. It's good to see him doing things, giving his perspective. And I agree with a lot of what he says in regards to the space, the type of guys, the little sissy ass shit that some of these guys do, the crying, the all of the excuses for a great deal of things. He's saying that. But I've said that, and others have said this. And he's learning the space. He's learning the content creators. Which is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to learn the content creators. You're supposed to learn everyone. And he's doing it on his own. He has never asked me about anybody, even though I could tell him about everybody for the most part. He's learning it on his own, just naturally interacting with the sector. And he's finding out all the BS that involves this sector. For me, in my interaction with this sector and YouTube period, this is entertainment first for me. This is entertainment first. And if there's a serious topic that I am somewhat drawn to, then I could somewhat become serious, particularly if we're talking about mental health or healthcare. And even somewhat with education or even politics. Now, we all know the issue, the backstory as it involves Sister George buying the channel from Ramil, creating it something of her own. Then we're finding out that I guess she partnered with Jessica X, and I don't know if that partnership still exists. It's a bit confusing of how that is, but that's their business, not mine, so I don't get into that. But when the Tough Talk TV cast, a panel, or group itself was mentioned, my boy Recognized Game was in that group. And it didn't take him long to start bumping heads. He bumped heads with a lot of the guys, specifically his interactions with Obsidian, which was classic. And I'm cool with Obsidian. I don't have a problem with Obsidian. I've been on his channel multiple times. I have engaged in interviews with him, and we've had pretty good discourse for the most part, and we will continue to do so. I don't have a problem with the direction that his channel has evolved into. He's bringing on Miss the lady friend, I would say, Miss Brown Sugar. She has brought her perspective, and it makes for an interesting show. You know, Obsidian is probably the best on mic performer in this space from my position, as far as the way he organizes things, the flow of the show. He is consistently talking, expressing himself, and he's a shock jock. You cannot deny him the talent that he has. And I've always thought that Obsidian was funny. Now, of course, Obsidian has said some off the wall things that may not make sense. He's flip-flopped. And so, and you know, he goes where the money is at. And he even admitted he's doing this for money, which is what most YouTubers are doing. They're doing this for money. But the interaction that he first encountered with Reckon, you just felt the tension as they were going back and forth maybe a month ago. Before you know it, they were arguing back and forth about different things. I think it was about copyright infringements and people who were copywriting intellectual property, and Recognized Game appeared to have known a great deal about that, and there were some issues, and it kind of went into that point. Okay. That was funny. Next situation, which kind of, you know, I don't know, I would never have guessed this would have happened. But as you know, Mr. Ramil, who sold his channel, quote unquote, then he brings his little bitch ass back, which I knew that was going to happen anyway. Mr. Pump and Dump, you know, Mr. Porn guy. And they end up having a run in, which probably, I think they still have some little friction now. And I'm just gonna be honest, man, Ramil is a clown. He is. You can't take this brother serious. He has a checkered past. He got a little thing going with the pump and dump thing. He did the little video with the guy. You know, he doing a pump and dump song with no women in the video. So I don't know what sense that made. But me and Ramil have had our little run-ins in the past. Our first run-in was on O'Shea panel on the Rumble. We was actually arguing some fucking shit about Umar Johnson, about the schools and stuff. And of course, O'Shea had me up there to talk about the Umar thing, because I was seen as this person that was well versed in that. And me and Ramil, we had a hospitable, exchange. And then I had another issue about him when I think during the riots in Houston and Dallas over George Floyd. We had a little debate going back and forth about he thought that black people were stupid for burning down their, the communities with businesses. And I basically thought otherwise to gain attention. And the bottom line, we don't own the goddamn businesses. So what? So that kind of, so I could recognize getting into it, in perspective with the people, because those are people who they're very visible, particularly, when we talk about Obsidian, he's a progenitor of this space, and Ramil with 3.0 generation of the Manosphere, he's been a leader in that 3.0, the 3.0 generation of the Manosphere per se, that they're, even though I think that 2.0 is where it's at. I don't care what anybody says. Between 15 to 16, 17, maybe 8 to 17, you start seeing 3.0 come in 18 and 19 for the most part. But Manosphere 2.0 is the best generation. 1.0 established things, Sergeant Willie P, and guys like that, and the guy with SYSBM wearing the goddamn trash can on his head and shit, saying, man, all these other different people, Mad Bus Driver X, those silly Negroes. And then 2.0 had more, the editing, more charisma. They actually, when the Manosphere, when I first began watching them, it was more about certain issues and rights, as far as child support and custody and things like that, and brothers leveling up. And then somehow it got lost in the sauce, where a lot of these Negroes start popping up, talking about all kinds of extremist rhetoric. And to me, when you really look at it, as those who are red pill, I don't see any of the three guys as being extreme with the red pill. Now, from my perspective, I just look at it like O'Shea was more comical, and O'Shea always and lighthearted, but he always had women come up because O'Shea was the one that pioneered that. The one that I thought believed in it more than anybody was Angry Man, and now at this place, Angry Man is claiming he's doing his different thing, and he's talking against the space that he built, and he's the one that fed a lot of the poison of the younger guys that say the stuff that they say, because he was saying it years ago. Now all of a sudden he has, decided that he was wrong, but he won't admit he's wrong, but the space is out of order, and now he's doing his own thing. Now you see him with Saints and a Sinner, and your boy Steve the Dean, and all these other different guys doing their thing as far as trying to help guys with, once again, dating. I don't get it, man. I'm gonna say this. I'm a 44-year-old man. I am sick and tired of hearing 40-plus-year-old people talking about dating. Like, damn. Like, what the hell were y'all doing in your 20s and the 30s? In real life, in your normal life, if you're around normal people, 40-year-olds are not talking about dating like that. 30-year-olds maybe to a certain extent. But you come here, 35, 38, 40-plus-year-old dating, relationships, femininity, masculinity, matriarchal, patriarchal, feminist. And so that's what Recognized Game was hearing. And he gave his response and his opinion. His channel is growing. He's monetized. He's over 1,000 and so forth. And his channel is going to steady grow. And hey, he's becoming a fixture in in the space. Again, shout out to Recognized Game. I saw him in my platform earlier today, and I think a day or two ago. He comes in and he shows up. But I'm getting ready to get the fuck out of that sector. Recognized Game. Like, I'm at the point where I'm only willing to give maybe 2 or 3 videos a week. I'm in another sector that's kind of related, kind of similar to that sector, the church sector and so forth. I'm thinking about just doing religious church sector type content, which ain't really about church for the most part. It's about things around the church and all the sins of the church. But I think as Recognized Gang continue to hone his skills and do what he's doing and have his talking points, a lot of other guys are going to be, drawn to him and so forth, and they're going to give his channel support. I mean, the channel, he's been, on that show for a little bit. It's a new show because everybody knows Sister George and Concrete Rose with Femininity Breakdown. That's still a cash cow for them. And, even though Concrete Road is not involved in Tough Talk, they got my Naima Buckner there. I mean, I don't know what happened to Jessica X. They recognize, and even Jessica X were bumping heads. Now I'm gonna say this, Recognized Game. You can correct me or not, but that interaction between you, Jessica, and the other guy, I don't know. It kind of, I don't know, man. That was all over the place. But the whole thing about Jessica X camming up, it's not gonna happen. Recognized Game. I had my little interaction, little one-on-one with her in 20, and of course the incels were just believing everything she stated. I mean, you're not going to turn these incels against Jessica X. It's not going to happen. Now, you may have a Jerome Whiteside that comes here and there that was loving her to death and no longer fucking with her, but for the most part, they're not. They're not. Just like the guy that was up there. Jessica X, no matter what. And hey, if she cams up, that's the end of her YouTube career because the novelty is gone. If I was Jessica X, the money she's making, and she don't even do a lot of videos, but the videos when she basically comments on pretty much popular topics here and there. She's been a little active over the last few weeks though, but she just don't create content. It has to be something that's been talked about in the space. And so she's over there doing her thing. Now she's over there, went to Recognized Game platform, and doing his thing. They talking about camming up and all these other different things like that. It was fun. It was comical, but I don't know if it was real or not. Was that a real interaction or that they were just scripting some shit so that people can watch them go at it with each other. I didn't see the purpose of the other brother in the middle who was there just basically cupcaking and caping for her per se, but she's used to that. She gets that all the time. She don't need anybody to cape for her because the whole sector has caped for Jessica X, particularly in 2020. They caped when Mr. Simtastic, I think he's in the ocean somewhere. I guess he minding his business, and when he get out, he'll be back doing videos. He can't help himself. But Mr. Simtastic is responsible